This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Coming up this morning on Sunrise, the second shooting near Jefferson High School in Portland in just the past month. This time, a 17-year-old student was shot. We'll have the details on that student's condition and what led up to the shooting in just a moment. Plus,
it goes to show that there are other forces at play here, and it's really challenging.
The chronically homeless population is growing, even though thousands of people have been helped off the streets. Coming up on Sunrise, details on a new count here in Portland.
And for one Tigard company, it is all about family and giving back. How they've made a difference in the lives of thousands of kids through their participation in KGW's Great Toy Drive, and how you can too.
it is Toy Drive season. We're asking for your help. We're asking for Rod's help now to figure out what the weather will be like today. Rod, what do you have for us?
Same deal, just clear skies. And that I was talking to Jay, one of our editors, and we were talking about how that east wind just adds a bite to the air, right? When you're out and about.
Because he rides his bike to work, doesn't
yeah,
he?
he would know.
Really feels
I could ride my bike to work. I just choose
actually
not
feel
to.
bad passing Jay sometimes. Like, look at this guy go.
As I told Jay, when I opened up that garage door this morning, I could feel the chill in the air. All right, here are the actual numbers. You know, it's deceiving, right? Because the numbers themselves aren't bad, but the east wind makes it feel much colder. 42 in downtown Portland right now. It is freezing up in Scappoose, freezing down Lebanon at 29, 37 in Salem and Kaiser. Generally, east winds will be pretty similar yesterday afternoon. That's 10 to 25 throughout the valley as a whole. Then you get the gusts into the 30s, maybe popping 40 out in East Multnomah, Clackamas, and Clark counties out near the gorge. 50 at noon. We'll be up into the 50s for a high, and then quickly cooling off when the sun goes down 47 at 5 p.m.
All right, Rod, we'll have more from Rod coming up here in a few minutes. But right now, our top story this morning. We know that a student was hurt in a drive-by shooting near Jefferson High School yesterday. The second shooting near Jefferson High in just the past month. This one yesterday happened as classes were letting out. So police say right around 3 o'clock, two 17-year-olds were driving near North Killingsworth and Haight Avenue when someone in a different car fired shots at those students, hitting one of them in the shoulder. That student is expected to recover. It was just last month, a few weeks ago, when two other students were hurt in a shooting at Jefferson, again, as classes were getting out. Bullet holes were found on the outside of the gym that day. There's been no word of arrests in that case or in yesterday's shooting.
A police chase with two suspects who were wanted in Oregon ended in a shootout in Washington. Police in Lewis County say they spotted the duo and started following them up I-5. The suspects took an exit near Grand Mound, that's about 7 miles north of Centralia. A witness says the men then tried to steal a woman's car, shot her, then stole the witness's pickup instead. The woman who was shot expected to survive. Meantime, police caught up with them and shot and killed one of the suspects. The other suspect was hurt and taken to the hospital. We're working to find out why they were wanted in Oregon.
Later this morning, Moscow police will give an update on the deaths of 4 students from the University of Idaho. They were found at a home off campus Sunday afternoon. Investigators released the names of the victims. They're 3 women from Idaho and 20-year-old Ethan Chapin from Washington. So far, police haven't said how the students died, but say they are investigating this as a homicide. The mayor of Moscow described the scene as, quote, complicated, complex, and difficult. He talked about possible scenarios, including a burglary gone wrong or a crime of passion.
Speculating about motive and occurrence is premature at this point, and it's going to take a while to march through the physical side of things.
So far, investigators haven't said anything officially about a possible motive or potential suspects.
New data show the number of chronically homeless people in Portland and Multnomah County is growing. Back in January, officials conducted their point-in-time count. That's when they count how many people are living on the street on any given night.
So at the time, they found more than 5,000. Now, 11 months later, we have the full report. KGW's Blair Best breaks it down for us.
It's been really, really hard.
Year after year.
I just turned 60 on Halloween.
Stuck in a cycle with no clear way out.
And every time you try to get forward, something will come and just snag you right back, you know, because we've been trying to be just about there, we're just about out. And, you know, it sucked us back in.
This section of Northeast 33rd Drive, now the closest thing to home for Shelby Ryan.
I think it was.
She became homeless.
This is Miss Molly.
It's after her husband passed away.
Hi, Miss Molly. You lose everything because you can't think. And then you end up here. Yeah.
Her story isn't unique. Ryan is one of the more than 3,000 chronically homeless people in Portland. Being chronically homeless means living on the streets with a disability for more than a year.
That's why we've kept expanding. It's why we've refined our shelter models.
The county's Joint Office of Homeless Services works to get people like Ryan off the streets. Last year, it helped more than 4,000 people leave homelessness. Yet the problem keeps getting worse. In 2015, 20% of people in shelter were chronically homeless. This year, that grew to 65%. And that's not including those living outside.
In a world where you can literally help 4,560 people end their homelessness and you still see what we see, it goes to show that there are other forces at play here, and it's really challenging.
Half their budget now goes toward expanding and operating shelters. They've opened motels, safe rest villages, and congregate shelters, all of which are out of the question for many.
But I mean, if you're going to make us go to a prison or these teeny tiny little homes that is like not even the size of my back of my pickup truck, it's not going to work. These people are going to, it's not going to follow up.
Which is one of the reasons they're still here, year after year.
The people come down and they want to help you in different agencies and resources. And they really, really, really do it. And we thank them so much. But then when it comes down to it, they come by one time, talk to us, and never come back.
Some of the things are just really backwards. I just don't get it out here. I mean, sometimes I just want to just walk out the door and just walk away from it all and just let it all go, you know?
The Point in Time report goes on to say that ending homelessness will come from focusing on the factors that push people onto the streets in the first place. That's things like rising rents, not enough income, racial injustice, and physical and behavioral health problems. Blair Best, KGW News.
Meanwhile, outreach workers tell us their emergency warming shelters are near capacity every night. The city of Portland and Multnomah County say the thresholds to open their shelters haven't been met yet. So a spokesperson with the city and county's Joint Office of Homeless Services spelled out what that threshold is, at least some of the parameters. They include temperatures being below 25 degrees. It also includes an inch or more of snow on the ground or overnight temps below 32 with an inch of driving rain. Union Gospel Mission opened up their overnight shelter in southeast Portland back on November 1st, and they say they plan to stay open through the month of May.
Unfortunately, for me, I turn away several people every night, and it breaks my heart because it is cold, you know, and it's not cold enough that the city will open up, but nevertheless, we could be losing lives. So
you hope that changes the way?
I really do, yes.
The city of Portland and Multnomah County say this week's forecast may trigger a different level of action other than opening up emergency warming shelters. That would include things like organizing outreach workers to deliver cold weather survival gear to people who are without shelter.
So just so you know, a temperature of 25 degrees in Portland, typically you have to have an Arctic air mass for us to get down to 25. We don't do that every year.
No, we don't.
In the city itself, it's rare. I mean, is that safe to say?
Yes. And so my point is those parameters are not something that address a typical cold winter night. They only address these episodes that we may or may not see every couple of years, which to me seems way too
like they need
off.
to rejigger that and kind of adjust it. No, I agree.
Especially with the large population of folks we have now that rely on this. Yeah. All right, I got to get rolling. By the way, as you look at clear skies, we still have east winds out there. Today's going to be similar to yesterday. It was 60 in Salem yesterday. Now get this, it was 50 in Troutdale. So Troutdale, now you're getting the colder east winds blowing out of the gorge. And then by the time you got to Hood River, where there was some cloudiness, it was only 41. So these wacky, all over the place temperature ranges are common in these east wind patterns, and that's what we have going on. It was upper 50s, almost 60 in Tillamook yesterday, and there will be some garden spots around today, but a lot of us will just be outside going, man, that east wind is chilly. So right now, here are the actual gusts, 29 Troutdale, 22 Portland. That's about where we were yesterday. Most of the East County areas yesterday stayed below 40 mile per hour winds, and Crown Point, never got above 63. Both of those were not as high as I thought they would be, and of course, that's good news. Here's the other gust map. You can just see there's an east gust to 31. So this only shows you the peak gust. It can be windy without a gust being reported, if that makes sense. In the valley, 10 to 25 is what we expect on average, the I-5 corridor, for the wind speeds to be. It's freezing up in Cowlitz County, 28. Obviously, here's the gorge. You folks don't get that east wind much up there. 33 down in Eugene, 27 to Bend. It has been 0. Now it's 1 out in Burns. Good grief, right? So let me take you through some temperatures today. This is the garden spot. A lot of the coast will see just a gentle breeze with mid to upper 50s, clear skies. That is dreamy weather for November at the Oregon coast. All right. Into the gorge. This is not so dreamy. Cloudiness often sets in to the Hood River Valley and extends out toward Pelton through the Columbia Basin when you get these temperature inversions. So it's cloudy right now from Hood River out to the Dalles. Those clouds may not break. Hood River was only 41 yesterday with an east wind. That's cold. Same thing for you today. All right, here in the valley, Salem hit 60 yesterday. Today we think enough of an east wind with the colder air kind of filtrating through. You won't be as warm, but 54 is not bad if the winds are just like 10 to 15, which they may be for you folks. This shows 56 up in Battleground. Here's a 7-day. Still all dry through Sunday. East winds away from the gorge will calm tomorrow. Likely rain still comes in on Monday and Tuesday, and that's your forecast.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rod. At KGW News, gosh, so many of us are familiar with the smell of rubber tires when hundreds of children's bicycles get delivered every single year for the KGW Great Toy Drive. Coming up, a look at the local company that has, over the years, donated thousands of bikes for kids in our community.